Welcome to Career Readiness by UCI Extension. My name is David Standen, and I'm very excited to be bringing you this course on the essentials of entrepreneurship. If you're watching this right now, it's probably because you are considering being an entrepreneur, or you know that you are an entrepreneur, that you want to go out there and start a business, that you want to do something, create something, but maybe you're not quite sure how to go about it, or maybe you're just interested as to what we teach in entrepreneurship in a university, or what are the essentials of entrepreneurship. Let's back up a little bit, even though that's pretty far back. Let's go back even a little bit further. Who is an entrepreneur? What is an entrepreneur? Because if you're going to take this course, you've got to be able to get something out of it. You've got to be able to teach you something or show you something that you currently maybe don't know or aren't ultra familiar with. So, what is an entrepreneur and how does an entrepreneur operate? The academic world still does not have a common definition for the entrepreneur. Academics fight over that all the time. Even entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? Is it just starting a business, starting a company? Or is there a difference between being entrepreneurial and enterprising? Well, we're actually, as an overview course, we're going to stay out of these arguments. But I do want to speak to the things that I know you're going to deal with. How do I know these things? Because I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have started several businesses. I am currently the president and CEO of my own business based in Laguna Beach, California. And I have been through the ups and downs and the turmoils of entrepreneurship and starting a business, growing a business, and operating a business. Entrepreneurs don't just have to start businesses, but we've also got to grow them and keep them running. So entrepreneurship really, in my opinion, is at the very heart of business. And an entrepreneur has to be a very well-rounded business person. So that's the journey I want to take you on through this course. A lot of times, entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, don't think of themselves as business people. They think of themselves as someone with an idea. And maybe that's where you are. Maybe you've got an idea or an inkling of an idea, or you think you might be able to find an idea. Right? And so you're in this course and you want to see how you can take this idea and transform it into a company, how you can be an entrepreneur, someone who operates, runs their own company. Okay? Definition of entrepreneur, I'm going to stay away from, but I really do like this quote by Ludwig von Mises, who talks about some of the characteristics that an entrepreneur is going to have, and specifically in the realm of how they view the world. A lot of times people think us entrepreneurs are crazy and we see things different than everybody else. I like what von Mises said about the fact that entrepreneurs, we don't see a different past. We don't see a different present. We don't live in la-la land, as we say, right? We see the past like other people see the past. I see the present as anybody sees the present. But sometimes, in fact, maybe often, I view the future in a different way. Why is that? Why would I have a different view of the future? Why would you have a different view of the future in respect to the business or the idea or the project or the product that you're currently working around with in your head? Why do you think the future can be different than those around you? We're going to look at that a little bit in the next section. What is an entrepreneur? What is entrepreneurship? Well, again, we're not going to touch that one. We'll touch it. We're not going to go too deep, though. What I do want to bring out is entrepreneurship is a process. It is a process, and where that process starts is really anybody's guess. And I've been in entrepreneurship enough in my life, and I've been in enough entrepreneurial processes and scenarios to see people enter at every point of entrance in that process. I've seen people that simply had an entrepreneurial culture because they come from a family of entrepreneurs, right? I've seen people not from an entrepreneurial culture just start to engage in entrepreneurial behavior, doing the things that entrepreneurs do. This is interesting that I talk about behavior, right? Because a lot of the thought on what makes an entrepreneur has to do with what they call entrepreneurial awareness or the cognition of an entrepreneur. This is very debatable as to whether entrepreneurs think so incredibly different than other successful managers. But what we do know is entrepreneurs do different things. So it's behavior that we really want to get into. Now, entrepreneurial behavior, by definition, begets innovation. right? And that's why famous entrepreneurs continue to innovate and do more and more innovative things, because that's part of the process. Innovation, by definition, creates competitive advantage. Competitive advantage gives superior performance, which can be harvested or reinvested into the entrepreneurial process, right back into that entrepreneurial culture. So entrepreneurship, whatever it is definitely a process. Entrepreneurship is also a management paradigm. It's a way of being managerial. And we can express it in several different ways. In fact, in what we frequently call the 4 pillars of entrepreneurship, the 4 types of entrepreneurial ventures. Now, regardless of the pillar or the type of venture that you engage in, the paradigm is very similar. The paradigm still goes through the same steps. The significance of those steps or the details of those steps can be different. Okay? Now, the 4 pillars of entrepreneurship, the way that we tend to see them today, there's what we call the independent venture, and this is what most people think about when they think about entrepreneurship. This is the lone entrepreneur, right? This is Steve Jobs going off to start Apple. This is Michael Dell in his college dorm room, starting Dell Computers. The independent venture, right? What we often call the self-made man. Now, at some point in your entrepreneurial venture, you're probably going to get it to a point where you hate to hear that phrase because you're really in the grind of it. You're going through what we all have to go through, okay? And you'll think about these self-made men. Myth number 1 of entrepreneurship: there is no such thing as a self-made man. We all get help. We've all had help, right? Once they succeed, sometimes they say, hey, this person helped me. Sometimes they hide it and try to say they're a self-made man. There is no self-made man. That's why you're here today, okay? You're getting help. You're getting knowledge. You're getting input. You're getting some advice, right? No self-made men, no self-made women. There are independent ventures, people who take it upon themselves to start a business, the first pillar of entrepreneurship. Then there's corporate ventures. Now, there's a silly little phrase in English that a lot of people use to describe corporate entrepreneurship. I'm not going to use it here. Although we don't have a solid definition for entrepreneur or entrepreneurship yet in academia, I take entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship very seriously. And the word means something. So rather than cut it up and make it cute and funny, I'm just going to say corporate entrepreneurship. This is people in businesses, in existing businesses, that want to or that see new ways that that company or that business can create value. And so they create new businesses within businesses, right? Being entrepreneurial within a corporation. This is entrepreneurship. The next one is family ventures. People that come from family businesses. And again, these have issues all their own. And it's very interesting what we can consider a family venture, and there's no consensus on that either, right? What is a family venture? And in the most liberal sense, a family venture is any corporation or any business entity in which the family, the founding family, still exerts sufficient control, right? Call that as you may. And so many, what we might call corporate ventures, are also family ventures, okay? There's also the social ventures. And this is becoming more and more popular these days. Social entrepreneurship. This is not necessarily not-for-profit. There's social ventures out there that are for-profit organizations, but they're still socially minded. Okay, the number one goal of that venture is not necessarily to make money, but to achieve something in society. So social ventures, which many times, of course, are not-for-profit. Okay? Now, the 4 pillars of entrepreneurship. There is a process of entrepreneurship that runs across all 4 of those pillars, regardless of which one you're engaging in. The first thing you need to do is you need to recognize an opportunity. Find, recognize, create, however you want to call it. There needs to be the opportunity. Once that opportunity is identified, there's a planning process, evaluation, business planning process, which once completed, if it's favorable, There's what we call resource marshaling, getting together the necessary resources, funds, people, equipment, the things needed, and then managing growth and change. All 4 of these steps are intricate to being entrepreneurial. Now, depending which pillar you're in, these steps might manifest themselves differently. The best example I give of that is, let's look at resource marshaling. So you got an idea, you got your business plan together, and you need to go get the money, for example. You want to get an investor. Well, this is an independent venture. You want to start a company. So you go to a bank. You give them your business plan. The bank looks at it, they say no. Go to bank number 2, they say no. Number 3, they say no. You go to 99 banks and you get 99 no's. You go to bank 100 and the guy looks at it and says, yeah, I'll give you the money. You've got your business, right? For an individual venture, 99 no's mean nothing if you get 1 yes. 1 yes, you've got your business. Now, what if it's a corporate venture, right? You work for a business and you think, hey, you know what? We could make a lot of money if we did this. And you put together a little business plan for it and you take it to your boss and you say, hey, I think we should do this. And he looks at it, he says, hey, that's a great idea. Gives it to his boss and says, wow, I think that's a great idea. Gives it to his boss, says, man, I think we should do this. 99 bosses, this big organization. 99 bosses all the way up. The CEO looks at it and says, no, I don't want to do that. 99 yeses mean nothing if you encounter 1 no, right? Same process, same thing going on here, but a different nature depending on which pillar you're in, right? And therefore, it's important as we go into entrepreneurship that we understand the nature of our pillar, right? The nature of the kind of entrepreneurship we're engaging in so that we can operate in each of these 4 steps effectively.